Going on, guys? Real quick, usually I do a real quick intro and then we jump right into the show, but tonight I wanted to say something at the top right here really quick. Just showing our support for Black Lives Matter. Going for 2.com, of course, is completely against racism, and as a white male growing up in this country, I know racism is real, and I just wanted to offer our support and to tell you that we are, we stand united against the front against racism. So with that said, guys, I hope you enjoy the show, and feel free to chime in.
Fantasy football, you dealing with the best. Keep it hype, authentic, this ain't nothing like the rest. With the Armchair Fantasy Show podcast, give advice for all the listeners to improve your stats. Yeah, we live on goingfor2.com. Tuesdays and Fridays, this is what you want. Talking dynasties and daily drafts, and we just getting started, that ain't even the half. Yeah, so go ahead, tell your friends to join. Going for 2, cause no one remembers the extra point. Hey, goingfor2.com, the Armchair Fantasy Show.
What's going on, guys? All right, welcome to episode 148 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I'm your host, of course, Jeff Lambert. You can follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. Presented as always by goingfor2.com. We are live every Tuesday night on Periscope, Facebook Live, and YouTube. Streaming in all your major podcast networks, and of course in the Going for 2 app for iOS and Android. I'm usually here with my co-host, Mr. Ryan Searfoss, but I don't know if he's back yet. We had some issues before the show. So Ryan, are you back with us yet? Oh, there we go. We do have Ryan. What's up, Ryan, man? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Ready to do some early predictions for this year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my next guest here, usually I intro the guest and talk myself a little bit, but this guy goes without introduction here. We actually have a full-on drop for this guy, so let me go ahead and get that.
He goes by many names: the Jinx, the Curse, the Kiss of Death. His predictions aren't always wrong, but they are never right. Goingfor2.com presents, from the Talk Loud Radio Studios, Nostra-Dumbass and the worst predictions ever.
All right, we got Nostra-Dumbass, a.k.a. the Jinx, a.k.a. Shane Clausen. Shane, man, how you doing tonight?
Jeff, what's up, buddy? How's everything going, man?
It's good, man. It's good. So, real quick off the top here, and I know me and you talk all the time because, we're actually friends in the real life world, not just in the virtual world. But I just wanted to congratulate you in person here. You are now a new father, man. How are things going with that?
Oh, man, it's definitely a blessing. I gave birth to my daughter, Riley Paige Clausen, January 30th, 5:33 a.m. Greatest moment of my life, without a doubt. And, I'm just blessed to have her in this world. I'm blessed for my wife, taking care of her at this moment, so I could be on the show with you today.
Nice.
And, yeah, man, hey, greatly appreciate it.
Yep, good stuff, man. All right, so give us a recap of your season. I know we're kind of in the middle of the summer right now, and I want to give you a chance to kind of talk about your fantasy teams. I know you're a big DraftKings guy. You did well in DraftKings and FanDuel, but how are your season-long teams?
So I honestly, the main season-long team that I'm working on right now is just our dynasty team. In all honesty, Jeff, and I know we've tried to make some trades happen here and there for our dynasty league. I'm on the 24 and under club, so essentially I'm trying to take my whole roster and I'm making sure they're at least of 24 years of age and under. I'm trying to get rid of all my old guys. But with that being said, I've got some young talent. I've got some young studs from Jacobs to some DK.
Nice.
So that's kind of where I'm at with season long. So when the whole sports thing kind of fell through, I decided to play some esports DFS.
Nice.
I'm actually a video game player myself, like League of Legends. I play all of it. Counter-Strike, grew up playing that, traveled for that game. So I went into it thinking, like, you know what? I'm going to be good at this. And I was wrong. I'm doing absolutely terrible at it. I switched over to NASCAR. Past couple weeks did pretty well. I was actually winning the mini-max 2 weeks in a row, including this past Sunday. And on the last 20 laps of each race, one of my drivers blew their engine. So maybe it's my bad luck. Maybe it's why I'm on the show right now to give my bad predictions. But we'll see. But yeah, man, it's definitely sad what's going on. Everything else with no sports and just everything going on in the world today. But hopefully we can bring some entertainment to everyone listening tonight. Giving my predictions and everything else. And let's have some fun tonight. And take our mind off of all the problems going on in the world right now.
Definitely. You're going to be here with us for probably a little bit over an hour tonight. We got a jam-packed show tonight, so we got tons of things to talk about. For those that don't know Shane or haven't seen him come on the show before, I think this is probably his 4th year in a row doing this. So Shane in our group of friends is known as a jinx because whatever he says, the opposite always tends to happen, and it's usually like in dramatic fashion. The one that I can remember off the top of my head is the Denver Broncos Ravens playoff game, where our friends at Broncos game, Shane tweets out in our little group chat. He's like, "Hey man, congratulations, Mel, your Broncos are going to the Super Bowl." And then the very next play was the Joe Flacco bomb that of course went for a touchdown to tie the game, send it to overtime, and then Ravens ended up winning the Super Bowl. So those are the kind of things that Shane does. I mean, it happens over and over and over and over again. So we bring it on every year to give one prediction of every team in the NFL. And we're going to do some recaps on those from last year as well. So I got some really good ones here. I listened to last night's show just last night, actually. So these are some of his predictions from last year. So first one is going to his own team, the Redskins. Paul Richardson will lead the Redskins in receiving this year. Yeah, we know that didn't happen. I don't think he even caught a pass. I mean, I think he did, but I mean, he was basically non-existent. Dwayne Haskins will start week 1. He didn't start until like week 13, I think. Carson Wentz will only play 4 weeks. He positively jinxed him into a 16-week season. He did get hurt in the playoffs, but for us, for fancy, that doesn't really matter. Saquon Barkley was the number 1 running back last year. Of course, he got injured as well. Didn't make that. Kyler Murray will maybe be in the top 20. Maybe. Of course, he was a top 10 quarterback last year, so he kind of hit him with the positive. McKinnon will lead all Niners running backs in fantasy points. I don't think he played a single snap. He got injured in the preseason once again, never even made it to the field. Todd Gurley is the best running back in the game and will finish top 5. Yeah, we know what happened with Todd Gurley. Devontae Freeman plays only 8 games. He's injury prone. Well, he played a full season. He wasn't very good, so I guess you can kind of take that. You know, you did get that in there, Shane. After Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, and Kamara, the Saints' next highest scoring player is going to be Traquan Smith. Dealt with injuries all year, barely played. Kerryon Johnson will be a top 15 running back this year. Yeah, he got injured as well and didn't do very well. The number 2 pass catcher behind Julian Edelman in the Patriots camp is going to be N'Keal Harry. Yeah, he also got injured and didn't play a whole lot last year. Josh Rosen will be the starter for the Dolphins week 1. That didn't happen. Let's see, a couple more here. The Bills would be a complete joke. Well, they made the playoffs, so he kind of helped out you Bills fans out there. Shady McCoy would lead the Bills in running back fantasy points this year. He got traded to the Chiefs, so he didn't even play for the Bills at the end of the season. Let's see. What else we got? Oh, he's going to go safe with the number 2 receiver in Indianapolis here. So behind T.Y. Hilton, he's going to go safe with Devin Funchess, who also got hurt last year. Paris Campbell will have a very good rookie season. He also got hurt. Marquise Lee will be the Jags' leading wide receiver. I don't think he played. He got hurt once again. Juju will be a PPR monster, and Vance McDonald will be the number 2 receiver on that team. Neither of those things happened. And finally, Baker Mayfield will be a top 5 QB because, this is his reasoning, because he posted with his shirt off in a Bentley. So that was his reasoning. So as we can see, guys, his predictions, I mean, some of them, when you listen to them, they make sense. But when Shane says it, the opposite seems to always happen. So we are here tonight to go through every team. I'm going to do the NFC. Ryan's going to do the AFC. And we're just going to go one at a time. All right, let's see. We're going to start off with the Arizona Cardinals. So, Shane, at the end of 2020, Kenyon Drake finishes the season as a top 12, top 24, or outside of top 24 in running backs.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just say one thing off the top of the show. This is a very important first question that you asked me because the very first player that you're asking me to analyze, I share a birthday with him. And it's January 26th.
Not good.
Lo and behold. So we're just going to kick it off that way. But no, I mean, I honestly, he'll be top. Is it top 24 you asked me?
Yeah, top 12, top 24, or outside of top 24.
He won't be top 12. I think he will be top 24. I'm eager to see how he fits in the Kingsbury system coming over to Arizona. I also think with Kyler Murray going into his second year, he's going to be more comfortable in the offense as well. It's just kind of going to make the offense flow a little bit more. So let's not forget, though, Drake averaged about 5 yards a carry. I do think I was actually the one that drafted him the rookie season, and somehow I think I ended up trading him or something happened, one or the other. But just with that being said, I think he'll have a good season. But I think it might take a few years if he sticks around to actually get that high ceiling top 12, running back status.
All right, fair enough. So top 24. All All right, Ryan, you're up next. You get the Denver Broncos, man. What's your question for Shane?
Will Drew Lock be a top 12 QB this season?
No, absolutely not. I think QB is one position this season that is going to excel. You might have some good quarterbacks that aren't even listed in the top 15. I've been reading numerous articles actually, just of everyone trying to rank the quarterbacks, and it just seems very top heavy this year. I can't put Drew Lock there. I can't even put him top 15 actually, because when you really go down the list and you got your Breezes, your Wilsons, your Bradys, your Matt Ryans. I mean, there's so many quarterbacks in the league. Even Aaron Rodgers. There's so many quarterbacks in the league that have such high upside. I didn't even mention Lamar Jackson. I mean, I could go on and on and on. So to put him as a top 12, that's really, really risky. That's really gambling. I like what the Broncos are doing. They're a very young team, but I don't even think my jinx can save him this year. I just don't see that happening. It's just not realistic to me.
All right. So up next is my team, and just for the listeners out there, this is how we're doing it. We're going by west, south, east, and north. So right now we're doing all the west at both AFC and NFC, just popping back and forth to each team. So now we're on my team, the 49ers. So you're drafting your dynasty team today, Shane. You're doing a startup draft. Who do you want? You want Brandon Ayuk or do you want Deebo Samuel?
So I'm gonna go conservative here. I'm gonna go with the easy answer. Jeff, you're gonna see a trend. You're gonna see a trend this year. I'm gonna do my best. To have statistical research. I'm not gonna go overboard with my true thoughts. Maybe I will. We'll see. But I'm just gonna play it a little safe this season. But honestly, you can't go without Deebo. He had an amazing end to the end of his season last year. He had somewhere around 40 catches for over 570 yards, a few touchdowns thrown in there as well. He was actually a real huge pivotal part to that offense, and I only think that's going to continue. Especially seeing how Garoppolo will improve that chemistry with him as well. I think that's a very safe answer to go with Deebo. And I think that's only going to improve next season. He really sparked that offense at the end of last season, and I think that's only going to continue.
As much as I hate to agree with you, I do think that is what's going to happen. I do like Brandon Ayuk, but I think rookie seasons they take a little bit while to progress. I think what Deebo had with Jimmy G last year was something good. I think they'll progress on that there. But now that you mentioned it, maybe I need to start selling my shares of Deebo Samuel everywhere that I've got them. So. All right, Ryan, you're up next. You got the Chiefs.
After Tyreek Hill, who is the Chiefs' number 2 receiver? You have Hardman, Watkins, or somebody else?
Okay. I really sat down and thought about this one. A lot of people sleep on Sammy. I think he fits that offense real well with Mahomes. I've always been a Watkins fan, to be honest. I just don't think things worked out with him too much in Buffalo, but ever since coming over to the Chiefs, he's on a Super Bowl winning team. His confidence is back. Not to take anything away from Mecole Hardman there. I know at the end of last season, Watkins did end up finishing with more yards than he did, but Hardman is like 5 years younger than Sammy is. Sammy is getting into his late 20s there. Hardman's I think coming off his sophomore, junior year, but there's more upside with Hardman. But I really think this year, I think Sammy's going to be there. I think he's going to be a consistent number 2 for them. But, I mean, that whole offense is loaded. I mean, there's just so much usage to go around. It's a tough question, but I'm going to give the nod to Sammy only because of last year's production.
Yeah, I know Sammy Watkins came out last year and he lit it up in week 1. I know our friend Dan in our main Dynasty League, Shane, had him on his bench that week. I think he scored like 55 points or something ridiculous. And
yeah,
it didn't do a whole bunch after that, but he did kind of show up a little bit in the playoffs there. So I can see Sammy Watkins being the number 2 leading wide receiver. Right. I think Kelsey gets the number 2 receiver spot. Then sure. Maybe even Clyde Edwards-Helaire probably gets the number 3 as far as targets goes. And then you got Sammy Watkins at number 4. But even in that offense at number 4, you could still put up fantasy points. So I think I'll agree there and go with Sammy Watkins as well. All right, the next up is the Seattle Seahawks, and I have a question involving one of your guys in our league that you mentioned earlier. So which wide receiver is going to be their top fantasy scorer in 2020 for the Seahawks? Is it DK Metcalf, or is it going to be Tyler Lockett this year?
It's without a doubt DK. I mean, I own him in our Dynasty League. That's one. He's going to have, the guy puts steroids in his Fruity Pebbles every morning. The dude's a monster. Have you seen this guy? Cornerbacks are going to be literally terrified of him once he hits his prime. There's no competition in Seattle. The guy's going to be an absolute machine. He's still young. He's coming in. He's coming into this league full force. For someone of his size, his route running and speed is second to none. I mean, honestly, he reminds me of like a Calvin Johnson in his prime, but this guy is huge, and he's so fun to watch. I knew it coming out of the draft. This is a guy I targeted in our Dynasty League. And it's only going to get better for this guy. It's DK without a question.
Yeah, I like that as well. I mean, I think both of them are going to be fantasy relevant. Obviously, I think they both were last year as well. DK though, he is that beast. I know last year he had a lot of question marks coming in, but he did look really good. All right, up next we have the Las Vegas Raiders. Ryan, what's your question for the Raiders?
Who's their leading receiver this year?
So this is one question, Jeff, that I'm just going to go ahead and skip on to the next one. That offense is going to be all Josh Jacobs, baby. They are going to rely. They are going to run him to the ground. That right there is a stud in the making. Their leading receiver is going to depend on who's wide open when all the linebackers stuff the box, trying to contain Jacobs all game. That's how good Jacobs is, and that's how good he will be next season. So that's my answer to that one.
All right, I feel bad for all those Jacob owners out there, including Shane, who owns him in our league. All right, we're going over to the Los Angeles Rams now. Tyler Higbee. This is just a question: is Tyler Higbee going to be a top 5 tight end this year? He finished top 8 last season.
And there's a reason for that, Jeff. Look at his competition. There's no one on that team that's giving him any competition. He is their tight end. So when that happens, I mean, I remember picking him last season in DraftKings all the time just because of his target, just because of his usage. You don't have to be a great tight end, but if you get a lot of targets, I want you on my team. And I think that's kind of where the Rams are leading. Like, that is their one tight end. There are many other teams in this league that are having tight end battles, and I think this is one that is not. Higbee is the clear favorite on this team, and Goff is going to utilize him, especially with Gurley gone now. That's going to spread the usage around. I love Higbee this season. Yeah,
I agree with that one as well. I think Higbee is going to be a monster. I'm getting him everywhere I can possibly get him. Ryan, what are your thoughts on Higbee? I know you've been in a few leagues with me this year that I've drafted him, and a few mock drafts as well that I've drafted him, and he's going later than I expected to go. What are your thoughts on Higbee?
I like Higbee if I can get it the right value. I don't have the confidence I have in like the top guys. He's definitely that tier rounder, and I think Gerald Everett's a guy who may sneak some production in because he did play well when he was healthy. But with Cook's gone, and then them trying to figure out what's going on the running back, he's a safety valve for them. So I like that. I think he has top 12 potential. I'm not putting him in that like top 7 range yet, but I think he's 7 or 8 range. But he's somebody who has a great floor for you.
Good stuff. All right, you got the other LA team, the Chargers. What's your question for them?
Over under week 5 starting for Justin Herbert.
So I'm going to put this question into perspective for you guys. Imagine you go to a concert. There's 2 bands playing that night, right? There's always that opening band where everyone's out just getting drinks. They're getting their nachos. They're running a little bit late. They're tailgating. And then you just need to make sure that you get into your seats before the main event goes live, right? Well, that's Tyrod Taylor. That's who he was in Cleveland. I mean, this guy would go to practice camp and everyone's screaming, Baker, Baker. What do you think it's going to be like for this guy? He's going to do it all over again. Yep. No one's going to want him to start. Everyone's going to be screaming for him to be on the bench. And more than likely, he's either going to get hurt or he's going to go in the corner and cry that this is what his career has become. I give it maybe till week 2.
Wow, week 2. All right.
Get it out of there.
I know your wife's a Chargers fan there, so I was interested to see what you would say about them.
Sorry, honey.
All right, so now we're going to move into the South divisions, the NFC South and the AFC South, and I'll kick it off with the Atlanta Falcons. I know you talked about Todd Gurley last year being top 5. Obviously, that didn't happen. He was not very good at all. He had a lot of touchdowns that kind of made up for some of his deficiencies, but Todd Gurley this year for the Atlanta Falcons finishes in this as a multiple choice question here: top 12, top 24, or outside the top 24. Which of those 3 do you like him?
Outside the top 24 because he's not going to make it past week 5. The man is injury prone. Jeff, there is a statistic right now that he has a 52.4% chance of getting hurt this season. That's like saying, I'm going to flip a quarter, and if it's heads, he's hurt. If it's tails, he's safe. That is astronomically high, and it's all coming down to the same leg. Eventually, they're going to have to amputate this guy. He's not going to be able to do the dirty bird. He's going to be like, it's over for him. His career's done. The man, he's such a good running back. I know I was all over him last year saying he was going to be the do-all, be-all, but I mean, there's not much you can do with injuries, and unfortunately, all of his injuries are coming on the same left leg.
Yeah, that's a good call there. Ryan, what are your thoughts on Gurley in Atlanta?
I'm an optimist, so I think if he's able to stay healthy, he's definitely top 12 potential just because of what he can do. We've seen far inferior running backs perform in that offense. I love Devonta Freeman. He was great when he was there. He performed top. He's a top 12 running back when he was there. We saw Tevin Coleman put up huge weeks when he was there, neither of which have been the kind of back Todd Gurley is. So when he's in there, he's going to be gold. And it's just a matter of him being able to stay in there. But we got the Jinx talking him getting hurt. Means he's going to stay healthy.
Yeah,
so
he's going to have a monster season.
Lock him in top 12.
Definitely. All right.
Fair enough.
While we're sticking with beat-up running backs, we're going to move over to the Texans. And where's David Johnson finishing? Same thing. Top 12, top 24, outside.
Outside, and I literally think this is going to be the same scenario. David Johnson's 28, might as well be going on 30. I'm not a fan of these older running backs. Not to mention, there's another running back right behind him, my boy Duke. It's a battle of the D. Johnsons. I love it. And I know it's a family show, Jeff, but you know how many people are going to like scream bloody murder when it's 12:59 and then 1 o'clock strikes and they realize they took the wrong D. Johnson? That's going to screw so many people up on FanDuel and DraftKings. I cannot wait to see the tilt because it's going to be the same team, same initial D, same last name Johnson. It's going to be great.
Yeah, people are going to be at home watching the scores go across the bottom like, oh, man, David Johnson's got 3 touchdowns. And they realized it was probably Duke. And like, shit. There's actually a story last year. I want to say it was the Footballers podcast I listened to. One of them made a trade. He said he woke up early in the morning. There was a trade sitting in his on his phone, and he accepted it right away because he thought it was David Johnson, only to find out that it was Duke Johnson that they were trading him. So that is crazy. All right, moving to the Carolina Panthers. So behind Mr. DJ Moore, who had a great season last year, the second leading receiver in fantasy points for the Panthers will be who? Curtis Samuels or Robbie Anderson?
And this is one of those questions, Jeff. It's so hard to figure this out. For one, Cam is not there anymore. You got Teddy Boy. And then this whole offense just revolves around Christian McCaffrey. So what happens when your running back gets that much usage? It gets dispersed in little itty-bitty crumbles over to your wide receivers. And honestly, when I look at DJ Moore and Samuel, I literally see the same person. I see the same person in Robbie Anderson, even when he was a Jet. I don't know. I don't even know how to answer this, but you know what? I know I have to answer every single question, and I'm going to say Robbie Anderson. You've got a brand-new quarterback. You've got a brand-new receiver. Let's just keep that going. And I think, if anything, maybe they'll find the chemistry together. So we'll go with that.
All right. Ryan, what are your thoughts on that receiver core there?
I mean, I have DJ Moore as a wide receiver 1. He's an absolute star. So we're not going to get into the blasphemy on DJ Moore. But I think Robbie Anderson, yes, Curtis Samuels is good, and they have similar games, but Robbie Anderson's proved he's been a producer on the deep ball. He's a really good field stretcher. He doesn't need to be used on the trick plays and stuff like Samuel. It's going to keep him on the field because of his specific role. So I think it's going to be Robbie as the number 2 receiver for them.
Yep. All right. Good stuff. And what team you got next up here?
We got the Colts, and who is going to be the second leading pass catcher behind T.Y. Hilton?
Yeah, I think the biggest upside and the safest play here is I got to go Paris Campbell. And look, I'm not biased toward Ohio State or anything. I don't have a favorite college team, but I see a lot of potential in this guy. I mean, he was outside of Terry McLaurin, who is my dear to my heart with my Redskins there. But I really think that I really feel like he's going to fit this offense, and he's definitely a spark. He's definitely a spark. I like the youth there. Honestly, we might not touch on it, but I think Jack Doyle is going to have a huge input on this team as well over there at tight end. But I love the speed. I just love the talent. I love the hands on this kid. He's young. He came from a great offense, and I think he's got the most upside on this team.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. That's a little bit outside of the norm there. I've heard some other players' name there, but yeah, I can see Paris Campbell. I mean, he got hurt last year, and that kind of set him back a little bit. If he can stay healthy, he's definitely an explosive receiver that can do some things. All right, so we asked this question last year. I'm going to change it just a little bit. We're going to eliminate Drew Brees in this question. So the number 3 fantasy point scorer, excluding Drew Brees, behind Alvin Kamara and Mike Thomas, is, and it's like Manny Sanders, Jared Cook, Traquan Smith, or is there somebody else in the offense you like?
People are sleepy on my man Latavius Murray. We need to go back and look at some stats. I mean, everyone's treating Kamara like he's the see-all, be-all. Yes, I mean, the guy's an absolute superstar. But when Latavius Murray was asked to play last season, he played. And a lot of people need to go back to the stat box because the stats weren't that far apart. So I'm not even going to say number 3, but this might be a barn burner of a prediction, but I think Latavius Murray might even get Kamara a run for his money this season because he showed signs of brilliance in this offense last season. Absolute brilliance.
All right. Outside the box there. I like it. See, Shane said he's going to go safe in the beginning of the podcast, and now he's about about 2 beers in, so it's going downhill from there. So.
Oh, yeah. You already know how this works out. We haven't even got to the NFC yet. or my division, I mean.
Right. All right, so let's see. We're at Jacksonville now, Ryan. What you got for the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Over-under on Gardner Minshew is a top 15 quarterback.
Honestly, I mean, I think he might be dead last at this point. There's a few other quarterbacks there's a few other quarterbacks I might rank behind him, but who in the absolute hell? Outside of DJ Chark, I get it. Who's he going to throw to? I'm not a fan of Conley. I'm not a fan of Cole. All these guys are average to me. DJ Chark will be a superstar. Don't get me wrong. I love DJ Chark. But I like what the Jaguars are doing. They're going young. They've got second-year and rookies all over the place. They took my boy Chris Thompson over there with them. But they're going to suck for a while. And Minshew is going to go through some turmoil with this team. He's talented, but I don't see him being above average whatsoever this year.
All right, good stuff. So you're not loving the rookie there, Laviska Shenault? You're no fan of him?
I'm not a fan of any rookies or any second-year players right now on this team. I think they're just too young as a core, and I think the only superstar that stands out for them that's actually going to his 3rd year is DJ Chark.
All right, it's good stuff. All right, I know a friend of ours is in the league right now with us. He's watching the show. He's commented a few times here, but he's be interested to hear about this next one because he's got the guy he drafted this year in our rookie draft. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the leading fantasy scoring running back for the Buccaneers is going to be Ronald Jones, Keyshawn Vaughn, the rookie, or Agumbo Wale. Who do you got there as the leading fantasy point scorer?
I mean, I got to go Keyshawn Vaughn. And there's a few reasons why. I think this is going to be I know Bruce Arians runs a ship, but does he really? Because I think Brady's going to run this ship. And I really feel like he's going to want to give these young bucks some chance. Brady's on his way out. Where do old people go to retire? They go to Florida, all right? And I really feel that Brady's going to look out for the future. He's going to look out for the future of this team. He's going to want his rookie running back. He's going to want the confidence there. And this kid's going to get so many red zone touchdowns. It's ridiculous. Because that's what the Patriots did last. That's what the Patriots always do when Brady was there. Brady would drive you downfield, and you're like, all right, I picked him 150 lines on DraftKings. I went all in, and all of a sudden he runs the ball on the freaking 1-yard line. And I really think you're going to see this a lot this season. So I got to go Keyshawn Vaughn.
All right, yeah, and our friend in our Dynasty League just typed in no, and I put it up on screen for everybody to see. All right, so let's see. We're at the Tennessee Titans, Ryan, and then we'll get to a commercial break here.
All right, who is the 3rd leading fantasy scorer, again, non-quarterback, behind Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown?
Yeah, that's also a tough one, too, because there's just so much usage that those couple of guys are taking away. But I think the safe one here, the safe for Florida's got to be Corey Davis, right? I mean, the man showed some signs of improvement in this offense, and it's hard to say that because the numbers are statistically low just because of how much usage Derrick Henry had with his team. This was such a run-heavy team for obvious reasons, right? But if I had to go the safe route, I'm definitely going to go with Corey Davis. He's up there in targets when they need him to be, but most of the time that's usually a play-action check down, or this was a very conservative offense that we saw in the playoffs.
Did Jeff take Darrington Evans in your league as well?
I don't think so.
I did not. He was on my list to get, but I ended up trading up in that draft, and I had a couple first-round picks and a couple high-end seconds, and I did not get Darrington Evans. I was disappointed, though. I did want to get him, though. Shocking. Yeah, Ryan knows. I've gotten him in pretty much every single mock in any draft that we've done together. I've gotten Darrington Evans pretty much everywhere. He's been my guy, but unfortunately I did not get him in my main league. I have to trade for him, I guess.
There you go.
All right, guys, real quick, we'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll tackle the North and the East Division, so just hang tight.
In the unpredictable world of fantasy sports, when all hope seems lost and chaos and confusion rule, one hero will rise. And change everything. Going for 2.com. Because no one remembers the extra point.
All right, guys, welcome back. I'm here with Ryan and Nostra-Dumbass, a.k.a. Shane the Jinx, and we are going team by team and giving you one prediction of each team, and we are at the North. We're doing the NFC North and the AFC North together, kicking it off with the Chicago Bears, and this is a pretty easy one for you, Shane. I have a feeling I know where you're going to go with this one, but the Week 1 starter for the Bears at QB is who?
Yeah, I mean, is it who it will be or who it should be? It will be Trash Bisky. It should be Foles. I mean, you literally got a quarterback that won a Super Bowl, and then you've got probably one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. I mean, it's such a joke over there in Chicago. Have they found a kicker yet? Make him the quarterback at this point.
All right, good stuff. Ryan, give me your thoughts on the two quarterbacks there in Chicago, and then give us your question for the Ravens.
I mean, it has to be Foles. If they want to win any games, that defense is good. The receivers are good. I believe in David Montgomery. The team's there. Try to win, man. Put in Foles. He gives you the best chance of winning. You've seen all you need to see with Trubisky. And then for Baltimore, who you have as their leading running back this year?
I mean, when you have such an explosive offense with Baltimore, and you got Lamar Jackson back there and Ingram, the safe play is Ingram. But imagine a two-headed monster with Dobbins and Ingram back there. That's actually insane. So, God, this offense is going to be scary. I'm going to go the safe route and go Ingram. But when you just drafted Dobbins, who's probably one of the best running backs coming out of the draft from Ohio State, I mean, you're just loading up that backfield. This offense is going to be insane to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll start off with Ingram early, and then I think Dobbins takes over late, and it's going to be a close. I think they'll finish pretty close as far as end of season type numbers, but I think Dobbins is the one you want to have, especially coming into the playoffs. I think he'll be the one taking over that offense.
I think yardage will be close, but I think carries and attempts going to go more towards Ingram.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. All right, I got the Detroit Lions now, and we are looking at Mr. DeAndre Swift, over under top 15 running back by the end of the season. Shane, what do you got for DeAndre Swift?
So, this is going to be bold, but I got my man at top 3 next season. Top 3, and I'm only going to say this. I'm only going to say this because of opportunity. I was all in. You mentioned in the beginning of the show, I was all in on Kerryon Johnson last year. The man got hurt, and he had a knee surgery. I don't see him. I can't see this man staying healthy. And we don't know what's going on with quarterback with Stafford there. Some fans want him out. Some fans want to keep him. It gives all the opportunity for this young kid out of Georgia to come excel. And he's good. And this is a line offense that isn't going to be that great. They're going to need usage somewhere. They're going to need reliability. And what better than bringing up a rookie and focusing on the future. I really see this kid getting a bulk of the offense, a bulk of the carries, and it may take a few weeks. It may take week 4, may take week 5 to get him fully adapted in the offense, or maybe take week 1. Who knows? But I think he's going to have a breakout year this year.
Wow.
He's going to get Rookie of the Year. He's going to take the storm by league. It's going to be a Josh Jacobs situation, but it might even be better.
Nice. So those of y'all that are watching at home on video, I know last year we had an appearance by this particular thing. There's a black cat in the background of Shane's video there. It's just sort of poetic. You know, the Jinx is here and he's got a black cat in the background. It kind of made an appearance last year as well. So, all right. So top 3, Shane, what do you think of that prediction and top 3 for Swift? And then go ahead and give us your AFC question.
I have no idea. That's bold. I wanted to see if you were going to correct yourself for a second. I love Swift. I don't see them using the bell cow approach because I don't trust Patricia. I think he copies too much of what Belichick did. But, I mean, I'd love to see it.
Definitely. So you got the Cincinnati Bengals up next.
For the Bengals, assuming health, at least 13 games, is A.J. Green in top 12, 24, or outside the top 24?
So, I mean, a lot of that's going to come on Burrow, right? I mean, we can all agree on that part. But I think it's gotten to the point now where Green is well exceeded over 30 years old. I think he's going to be 32 during this season, or he's already 32, going to be 33 as he enters the season. The man's done amazing things in this league, but I think it's time to hang it up. I really think there are going to be some better receivers that Cincinnati should probably focus on. Tyler Boyd is no laughing matter at all. The man's definitely picked it up, and T. Higgins over there as well. So I just think they have a lot of talent on that offense, and I really think they need to move on past AJ Green. That's my personal opinion. I think he's just I just don't think he can stay healthy. So, like I said, the man's had an amazing career. But if you're going to go young at quarterback and draft a quarterback with the first pick, you might want to go the younger route. And that's just kind of where I stand on that.
All right, good stuff. So I'm going to move to the Green Bay Packers, my wife's Green Bay Packers here. And the leading wide receiver behind Devontae Adams for the Packers is, you got Alan Lazard there, you got Marquez Valdez-Scantling, you got a bunch of other guys whose names I'm not even going to mention. You got some guy they signed out of the Canadian League. Who is the number 2 receiver there in Green Bay?
Oh, he already proved himself. It's Alan Lazard. I don't think it's close whatsoever. This kid is good. 35 of 52 targets for almost 500 yards and 3 scores. What more can you ask out of a receiver? He almost averaged 10 yards per target, and 24 of those 35 catches were first downs or touchdowns. So, I mean, the kid proved himself, and he's only going to get better. I think he's light years above anyone else in that offense right now at wide receiver, and that's kind of where I stand. Yep.
And they just gave you that name of that Canadian receiver that I was talking about, Reggie Begelton. I'm not sure that's pronounced right, but that's the guy they signed from Canada who was very good. People are hyping him up all over Twitter, so I don't know if he's going to be anything in the NFL, but they are kind of hyping him a little bit. Ryan, what are your thoughts on the Alan Lazard call there? And then go ahead and give us your AFC question as well.
Fully agree. I love Alan Lazard. I think he's really good. I think he's a talented receiver. He's big body. He should be a really good red zone threat. I like what he does. I'm a big Lazard fan. And then moving on to the Browns, does Baker bounce back and make top 15 quarterback?
So last year I was on this show. I said Baker Mayfield would be a top 5 quarterback. This year I'm on the show, and I'm going to say Baker Mayfield will be a top 5 quarterback.
Uh-oh.
But run it back. Run it back. There's so many reasons why this season. If I didn't have enough last year, I've got even more this year. Kitchens, you're out of here. They picked up Hooper. They made improvements to the offensive line. There's no reason. There's no reason why he doesn't have a bounce back year. He still has great weapons there with Landry and Odell. And he's got a lot more knowledge for the league. He's at that pace now, unlike college. And honestly, I think the Browns are going to give the Ravens a run for the money in that division. I think they are going to be a very, very solid team. Just because he'll be protected this season. The kid's going to have some time to make plays, and he's got the wide receivers to do so.
All right. I guess if you say it enough times, eventually it'll happen. Just keep saying top 5 quarterback Baker Mayfield. Maybe one day he'll finally get there. All right, so I'm up on the Minnesota Vikings next. So behind Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook, the third leading fantasy scoring player, non-quarterback for the Vikings is, and you got, of course, the rookie Justin Jefferson, the tight end Irv Smith Jr., Alexander Madison's there. We still got Kyle Rudolph. Who are you thinking there for the third leading receiver or third leading fantasy scorer?
Yeah, so now that Diggs is gone, man, I just think the receiving core there is abysmal, to say the least. So I'm gonna go the safe route and go with my kid out of Boise State, Alexander Madison. Yeah, he didn't light the world on fire. In my opinion, Dalvin Cook is actually one of my favorite running backs this year. Wink, wink to our Dynasty League if you're listening. I might have a trade coming up with him. We'll see if said person wants to pull the trigger on what I want to give him. But yeah, this is a very top-heavy offense in regards to running back. You've got the 9th highest-paid athlete in the world, Mr. Kirk Cousins, over there, with Carson Wentz coming in at 10th. Didn't know if you knew that or not. So hopefully he puts that 9th richest player in the world to use this year, but we'll see about that. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to go with Madison. I think it's a safe call. None of them lit the world on fire last year, but I'm never going to be able to figure this offense out outside of Thielen and Cook.
All right, I dodged a couple bullets there because you didn't mention my guy at all. I drafted Justin Jefferson in our Dynasty League, so I was hoping you wouldn't bring him up.
I know you did because I looked that up when I was doing my notes.
Good stuff. All right, Shane, give us your thoughts on the Vikings there. I know you're a big Dalvin Cook guy too as well, but give us your thoughts on the Minnesota Vikings, and then go ahead and give us our last AFC North question.
All right. I fully believe Justin Jefferson. I think he steps into the role we saw Stephon Diggs do. I think he has very short hands. He runs all the same routes. He has speed. He can do a little bit of everything. He tracks the ball well. I think he fills in, and he has the potential to be as good as Thielen. Fully agree with Dalvin. He's a monster. And I think Alexander Madison has a chance to sneak into that top 24 running back area, even with the help of the Dalvin, just because of how much that team set to run the ball this year. So I think it's going to be not a fun offense to watch, but I think it's going to get some sneaky production out of it.
All right, good stuff.
And then with this next one, we had last team in the North, we had Steelers. So other than Juju, who's their number 2 receiver?
You guys ready for another bowl call?
Uh-oh, here it comes.
I already know what it's going to be.
Juju isn't going to be number 1 this year.
Oh, my God.
My man out of Notre Dame, Chase Claypool,
Not what I expected.
is going to take the league by storm. Man caught for over 1,000 yards last year in college, averaged 15.7 yards a catch. He's going to transition well in the NFL. If Big Ben can keep it together, just keep it together, Ben. Shave the beard a little bit. Touch it up. Look presentable. I really think this kid's going to take over. I think this might be one of the best plays in the draft offensively. And for me, I feel like Pittsburgh always pulls that star here and there. You know what I mean? Like they always get that guy out of the draft that just takes the league over. And I think they came around this draft and they picked that said player. And I got Chase Claypool as a top 10 receiver this year.
Wow. Okay, that's extra bold there. So you're basically saying that Juju's the number 2 receiver in that team, and not any of the other guys that we mentioned.
I thought you were going to say Deontay Johnson.
I secretly think there's some turmoil going on with the Steelers and Juju. My personal opinion. I think there's a lot of turmoil there, and we're going to hear about that throughout the season.
There is with the fan base now.
Really? Because Ryan lives in Pittsburgh, Shane, if you didn't know that, so he hears all the rumors up there.
Yeah, the fans have turned on Juju a lot. It's weird.
Oh,
I feel like it's not fully necessary, but they've turned on him a lot.
Wow.
And a lot of them don't want him re-signed.
So that means you kind of agree with me that he might be the number 1 receiver there in Pittsburgh.
It's never a good thing to agree with
No,
Jinx.
I think Deontay Johnson's better. But
you're right. I agree with you. I think he's got a better floor. But I'm going high upside, high ceiling, and I'm going Chase Claypool.
All right, good stuff. All right, we're going to move into the East now, the NFC East and the AFC East, and I'm going to kick it off here with your hated rivals, the Dallas Cowboys. We'll keep this one simple. More fantasy points end of season, CeeDee Lamb or Michael Gallup?
So, I mean, I feel like It's going to come down to Dak, obviously, because he's the one that's going to get them the ball. But with that being said, I honestly think the Cowboys are going to be great next year. I think that they got a very talented offense, a lot of weapons. I'm going to go the consistent route. CD, to me, has to prove he can catch for over 1,000 yards in a season. Gallup's already done that. He did it last year with 1,100. He will be their number one next year. And I think CD's going to be a great addition as long as his girlfriend allows him to be. And it might take him a few seasons to fit into that offense. But, I mean, you can't compare him to Gallup. I think that's disrespectful to Michael Gallup. And I think that's an easy choice. One of the easier questions to me. I think Michael Gallup is a clear favorite there.
All right. Ryan, what are your thoughts on these two guys here? And then give us your AFC question.
I love both of them, but I kind of agree. I like Gallup does, man. He's so consistent. He's shorthanded. And we saw that Dak trusted him last year. So I'm on board with it. I think CD is the future wide receiver one there, but I don't think it's this year.
Okay, fair enough. And then you got the Buffalo Bills.
For the Bills, leading running back this year, Devin Singletary or Zach Moss?
Yeah, it's funny because, I mean, after the year that Singletary had, for them to just come out and draft another running back, I really think that hurt the morale of Singletary. And, like, how can you do that to the kid? I don't know what Buffalo was thinking there. I mean, I know he's probably trying to create this two-headed monster, but I really, you really crushed the morale of your young running back there by just going around and drafting a running back the following season. So they're two different style running backs. Moss is more running in between the tackle kind of guy. But after the season Singletary had, I mean, I'm gonna go back to the well. If Buffalo's smart, they go right back to Singletary. The kid had a great season. I'm not sure what their game plan is. And I don't think you need this two-headed monster because I think Singletary gives you everything you need.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I read a bunch of articles just recently, and speaking on that, drafting the running back thing, I think the Niners have kind of created this blueprint where they just got a bunch of running backs and whoever happens to have the hot hand. I think teams are now trying to copy that. I heard even like the Seattle Seahawks, they got another running back this year, or the Rams talked about having a running back by committee just playing the hot hand. So there could be sort of a copycat thing going on there. They're trying to create that, just get as many running backs as you can and, put some on your practice squad if you have to. And if they need to come in and fill in, then you're good to go. Because, I mean, as much as it's a passing league, without a running game, you're pretty much in deep shit. So I kind of like what they did with Zach Moss, even though I do own Singletary. I do think Singletary will end up with more fantasy points, but I don't think he will be as what I thought he was when I thought, before they got Zach Moss. I think they will split the backfield a little bit and hurt Singletary's potential for sure. All right, New York Giants. The leading scorer behind Saquon Barkley, this is non-QB, is it going to be Darius Slayton? Is it going to be Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate, Evan Ingram? Who you got for the second leading scorer as far as fantasy points goes behind Saquon Barkley?
Well, if we could just wrap a huge bubble around this guy, I definitely want to say Sterling Shepard. So the same statistics I gave you with Gurley earlier about him being a 52% chance of getting injured next season, yeah, there's one player that's higher than him, and his name is Sterling Shepard at 56%.
Oof.
Oh, and the man battles concussions, but I dig a little deeper into these athletes, not only like sports statistics wise, but he suffers from migraines. And I didn't know this, but we do know a former receiver named Percy Harvin. He suffered through migraines, and it eventually went on to really hurt his career. I didn't know this, but Sterling Shepard actually goes through the same thing, and he actually had to sit a few games out because of that. So anytime that you're battling concussions, a grade 3 and a grade 1, he's had a cervical neck strain, he's had a hamstring pull, he's had, like I just mentioned back in 2017, a head cranial migraine where he missed a few games, from ankle sprains to groin sprains. I mean, literally, 2020 edition of Operation is going to have Sterling Shepard on the board for all your kids to play. I mean, get the board game ready. It's scary. It truly is, and he's such a talented athlete. But who knows? Maybe this is the season he can get it together and stay healthy. But I am going to go with my man Sterling Shepard. I own him in our dynasty league. I'm staying by him.
There's the theme tonight. I've noticed a lot of the guys that you own, you're calling for their good seasons. You're just basically crushing yourself right there, Shane. You should know better than to do that. Brian, what are your thoughts on this Giants offense? Who do you think the number 2 receiver is going to be there, or number 2 fantasy scorer is going to be there? And then give us your Dolphins question.
He just made me really sad about Sterling Shepard thing, because I like Shepard a lot. And hearing those injuries put together in a sentence like that, it's kind of depressing. I feel like the injury things, this entire offense at the receiving core between him, Tate, and Ingram. I love Ingram, man. If he's healthy, he's something completely different than everybody else they have. When you have Slayton, Shepard, and Tate, they're all smaller receivers. They're speed guys right after the catch. None of them really red zone threats. Same with Barkley. Ingram could be a monster down low. He could be that safety blanket for him. And I think he's faster than Shepard and Tate, which at his size is kind of scary. But if he's not hurt, I think he's the star of that offense. But again, I don't know how much we can bank on him being healthy either, but it's football, so I'll take a chance.
Good.
And then, speaking of injuries, I'm saying my host transition game's on tonight. Speaking of injuries, when do we see Tua Tagovailoa starting?
Oh, you even got the name right.
Huh?
You even got the name right. You even pronounced it right. I love it.
Okay, well, I'm not going to pronounce his last name. I'll just refer him to as Tua. But, yeah, kudos to that. But there's always one thing about Fitzmagic. Eventually, you're going to make everything disappear, including his starting job. So it's going to be Tua time. And like I said, Jeff, I am sticking with the theme. I drafted Tua in our dynasty, but not only because of that, but we're going to have the same exact situation over there with Tyrod Taylor. Fitzpatrick's going to go through the same exact thing. Can you imagine if they pick up Miami for Hard Knocks? It's going to be hashtag Tua time, Tua time, Tua time. It's going to happen, guys. Miami's going to want it. Maybe week 4, maybe week 5, because Fitzmagic's one of the most inconsistent quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. I remember I faded him one time. He was like 10% on FanDuel. He went for like 60 or 70 FanDuel points one game, like 5 or 6 touchdowns. And then he turns around the next week and throws a dud. I hate the guy. I hate his beard. He tried to pull the whole McGregor thing off. It doesn't work. You're not the best in your sport. Not saying McGregor is, but he once was one of the best. Khabib is obviously the best in that sport right now, but now I'm just getting off the rails. It's Tua time, week 5.
All right, good stuff, week 5. All right, so what do I got here? I got the Philadelphia Eagles, and we're gonna jinx a guy that's been quite loved on Twitter. I know I've seen a lot of guys putting him in their top 12, but Miles Sanders over under top 12 running back this year.
Who?
Miles Sanders.
Wait, who? Wait, is that the 7th running back that the Eagles have, or maybe the 8th? I'm losing count of all these running backs that the Eagles have. Like, running back by committee, this is running back by, like, freaking city. Running back by city. Hashtag it. If you live in Philly, go on over, guys. You can go over to the link. What's the stadium now? I don't even care. It's Philadelphia. Not a fan. Everyone runs for the Philadelphia Eagles these days. I'm not, from Boston Scott, Clement, Holyfield. It might as well be a Vander Holyfield at this rate. I don't know who the guy is. Didn't care to look him up. I'm not sure what they're doing. Maybe one of them can take Carson's job when he gets hurt. Or is that Jalen Hurts? See what I'm doing? It's a play with words now with this team. I don't like them. I'm glad I traded them away. This whole team is a mess right now at running back.
All right, some strong words there for the Eagles from a Redskins fan. Surprise, surprise there. Ryan, give me your thoughts on Miles Sanders. Do you have him in your top 12 for running backs?
I think he was just outside. Let me double check. I like Miles Sanders. I think there is a little bit of a committee there, and I think he's going to be in a role. I think his PPR, I think his receiving ability gives him a nice floor. I'm at 11.
You got him 11, so you got him just inside the top 12.
I'm just inside the top 12. He's somebody he has a ton of upside. If they stick with the hot hand, which should be him, he's far more talented than the rest of those guys. But I still don't fully trust them to give him the ball in the red zone. And that kind of kills his ceiling a little bit. But I think his receiving ability, his ability to create, is good enough to make him a productive back.
All right, good stuff. And you got the New England Patriots, the new look New England Patriots.
The new look New England Patriots with a bajillion question marks. Who's their leading receiver? Any positions eligible?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I already got my guy. And I'm so happy because I've been on this guy for years. I was literally ridiculed almost out of my dynasty league. Jeff was bullying me. All these other big bullies were like, how could you do this trade? And in that said trade was one player that Bill Belichick himself, the mastermind genius coach, he saw something in this guy, and he just picked him up to a 1-year contract worth 30, or no, was it a 1 year or was it what? Yeah, it was a 1-year contract, I believe. 1-year contract with New England, and that guy's name is Marquise Lee. He's back, baby. I've mentioned this guy several times before on this show. I know.
Oh my God!
These last 4 years, Marquise Lee is going to take that team over. I'm so glad Belichick was able to finally sit down and say, you know, there's this guy that's always injury prone, but he's such a good target. He's such a good player. 119 catches, 1,500 yards, 6 touchdowns, all while being hurt back and forth. The guy still produced. Give him a healthy season. Let him work under Belichick. It sucks Brady isn't there, but I'm going Marquise Lee. Might even pass Edelman.
Wow. Okay. Sticking with Marquise Lee for 3 years in a row. Eventually, he's going to have to hit on something, I guess.
I've just put a little pull the curtain. Our show sheet here that Jeff made has 4 players listed, plus 2 tight ends extra with no mention of Marquise Lee.
Yeah, I did mention him at all.
I don't even know if Jeff knew he was on the team.
I didn't, because I didn't know where he was going with that one. I was like, is he going to pick Mohamed Sanu? Who's he going with on this one? I had no idea that Marquise Lee was even a Patriot. So good stuff.
Didn't you love on him last year on the show?
I've loved on him the last 4 years.
Yeah, he's literally been on him for 4 years straight. He loves some Marquise Lee. All right, so I'm going to give you your own team now. Let's see if you jinx your own team. So the team's second leading receiver, if we assume that Terry McLaurin is going to be number 1, is who? You got Steven Sims Jr. there. You got Kelvin Harmon there. You got the new rookie Antonio Gibson. You got Gandy Golden. Who's the second leading receiver on that team this year, Shane?
You know, I'm really liking this new look Redskins. I mean, I've been literally begging for years that we just go young. This isn't the Redskins of old. We're not trading in free agency and getting all these old school, older veterans. You know, it's a very new look. But I'm going to have a little different point of reasoning for my answer here. So I really feel that losing Trent Williams, I really think our offensive line is going to take a hit. It's already shown to. You know, we do have some studs. We have some talent there. But I'm not a fan of Haskins. I've said this many times. I'm just not. I think he's going to feel the heat. And now that Thompson's gone, who is Mr. Checkdown, Geis, if the kid can stay healthy, I think he's going to be a workhorse this season. Scary Terry is light years above everyone. Harmon, in my opinion, still needs some work. Sims Jr. stepped it up toward the end of the season last year. Definitely got some speed there. But I think with the higher ceiling, I think you're going to see guys doing a lot of extra roles other than running the ball, and that includes catching passes out of the backfield. I just don't see Haskins getting comfortable with this offense. I don't think he's, you can go out there and throw passes to freaking Chad Johnson or Ocho Cinco and Antonio Brown all you want. It doesn't mean anything. So, it's going to come down to that team in general. It's near and dear to my heart. I think our defense is going to be phenomenal, but our offense will struggle. And I'd have to give this to Geis. I think he's going to be doing a lot of work there in the backfield.
All right, so you have ruined this poor guy's career, man, because you have picked Geis to do big things the last 2 years, and he's been pretty injured and off the field, and you went out of your way to ruin his season once again by calling him the second leading player on this team. Oh man, I feel bad for Geis, man. All right, Ryan, we got one team left on the docket, man. Go ahead and give us your question for the last team we have.
Last probably least New York Jets. Pretty simple question. Who's their leading receiver this year?
Yeah. You can just stop there, Ryan. This is definitely last and least because it's the Jets. But I did some digging and I heard a few reports on ESPN here and there. But apparently Hines Ward and Denzel Mims they're having a huge bond as of late. And Hines sees a lot of himself in Denzel Mims. He's a blocking wide receiver. He's got tremendous upside. and he's kind of just separating him from the core. He seems to be all in on this kid, and I'll be eager to see what Denzel Mims does. So I'm a huge fan of Denzel coming into the season, especially Robbie Anderson's gone and you got the usage there.
All right, going with Denzel Mims, the rookie. I love it. All right, that wraps up our one question per team. We'll see how well Shane's predictions come out. We'll definitely have him on again next year to go over his bad predictions. But before we get out of here, we've got to do our fantasy player.
Get ready for GoingFor2.com's Forgotten Fantasy Player of the Week.
All right, Shane, you got to come strong here. Who do you got for your Forgotten Fantasy Player?
Plaxico Burress, baby. If there's anyone that could have a floor like this guy, it's got to be Plaxico. First round pick out of Michigan State, 6'5", had tremendous height, huge goal line weapon. I'll bring up Madden. I remember being at the 1 yard line and just throwing a fade route to this kid. He averaged 8 touchdowns per season from 01 to 07, double-digit totals. Speaking of double digits, yeah, if FanDuel and DraftKings were around back then, yeah, get used to seeing 15 to 20 fantasy points per week from this guy. Tremendous floor. Oh my God, why can't he still be in the league in his prime?
Good stuff.
I'll never forget it. It was his rookie year. I believe it was his first game. I'm in Pittsburgh. I've watched all the Steelers games because all my family and friends were fans. He makes a beautiful diving catch over the middle, gets up, celebrates, spikes the ball. No one had touched him. Fumble, the other team took it to the house.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
Whoops. But, of course, this is all before the shot heard around the world.
Yep, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, so Shane, I know you're not really like an analyst on Twitter or anything, but is there anything you wanted to plug before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, you can follow me over on Twitter at DFShane26. I haven't been active on there lately. Obviously, there's no sports, but I actually play some video games on Twitch now. I have been, but if you want to check that out, I'm always down to shoot the crap, talk sports, talk whatever. So you can follow me over there.
All right, good stuff. And Ryan, you're rocking your TDDR shirt there, man. You got anything going on over there?
Just put out a top 10 FCC power rankings for players for picking up in Devy for next year. It's a nice little look ahead. We put out a bunch of them lately. Going to be putting out an article for Going for Two to start up tomorrow after I do the rankings for our next show. For why Daniel Jones is going to be a QB1 this year. And we are going to be doing a fantasy eliminator for Going for Two where you come face me and Jeff as co-owners. We need 17 we have 17 openings, $10 a team. 50 goes to the winner, the rest goes to fantasycares.com. So sign up for it and DM us to let us know if you want in.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Just hit me up in my DM or Ryan's DM if you want that fantasy eliminator. We actually just found out about it today, I believe, or yesterday. So it's brand new for us. We haven't even got any kind of anything sort of written up for it or not yet. So the only thing I got ready to plug is going to be my my contest this year, the Going for Two Grinders Championship. We got a championship belt that we secured from UndisputedBelts.com. They're going to give us to the top lineup. Basically, if you go onto the website right now, you'll see where it says contest. If you play DraftKings, you can sign up. It's free to sign up. We just ask that you make a donation to my GoFundMe page, which is also in the article as well. So please, guys, go onto the website, click on contest, join the DraftKings contest, and then it's a week one only contest. There's no big commitment to this. It's very simple. You just basically get into the contest, hope you win the belt, and donate to a great charity. So that's it, guys. That's it for tonight. For Shane, for Ryan, I'm Jeff. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.